of May, and the charges that he faced were committing espionage and leaking sensitive information regarding the movements of the Indian Army. The second in command is believed to be YouTuber Jyoti Malhotra, the travel vlogger who has been arrested for spying for Pakistan on the charges of spying for Pakistan. Danish is believed to have introduced Jyoti to several agents working for Pakistani intelligence. She was in touch with other YouTubers who tried to further the Pakistani narratives on social media. Part of the entire psy-ops of the Pakistan ISI when it comes to Operation Sindoor, as well as the Pahalgam terror attack. She allegedly stayed in contact with them through apps such as WhatsApp, Telegram and Snapchat, and even formed an intimate relationship, is what we are learning from the investigation agencies, with one of the agents. The police have made their case stronger by alleging that even during the recent India-Pak conflict, she was in touch with Pakistani operators. Now, next in the nexus is Shakir alias Rana Shabaz, whose contact was saved in Jyoti Malhotra's phone as Jat Randhawa. Investigators claim that Malhotra shared photos, videos and details of sensitive locations inside India with her Pakistani handlers. She also reportedly tried to boost Pakistan's image on social media through her online platforms. Now, apart from Jyoti Malhotra, the police have also arrested Ghazala, Yameen Mohammed, Devendra Singh Dhillon and Arman. All of them are Indian citizens, and police suspect they were recruited for different roles within this entire spy network. Ghazala is a widow from Maler Kota and was tricked by Danish, is what we are learning from the investigation agencies. Danish being the Pakistan High Commission officials in New Delhi on the pretext of marriage. Ghazala has also been arrested for spying for Pakistan. Her accomplice Yameen Mohammed was also tricked by Danish and is now under arrest. Devendra Singh Dhillon, a student from Patiala, first visited Pakistan in November 2024 and was allegedly honey-trapped by Pakistani officials. He was even asked to send videos of the Patiala cant. Arman was arrested from Haryana's New. He was brainwashed into espionage by Danish, who is at the helm of this entire ring. That's Ehsan-ur-Rahim alias Danish. And he was trapped in this entire espionage racket by Danish in exchange for money. Arman, who we're talking about, was given a SIM card by Pakistani officials and was asked to take pictures of India's Defence Expo. So you can see the elaborate ring that has been created with all these individuals, ladies and gentlemen, who are part of this elaborate spy ring to give information, sensitive information to the Pakistani intelligence infrastructure. And this is now all under investigation as the officials and the authorities try to bust this entire nexus that has come to light in the wake of Operation Sindoor. I'm joined by my colleague Anshul Singh on the broadcast. So Anshul, we've explained to our viewers the elaborate angle that has been uncovered by the authorities. What more details can you get for us when it comes to the Jyoti Malhotra angle? Because as we've been speaking to the family of Jyoti Malhotra, they were completely unaware of not only her movements, but how the money was coming in.
Well, yes, that is the biggest question in this entire matter. Jyoti Malhotra was traveling for different parts of the country, and his father has to say that the only money that the family is surviving on is from the retirement pension that his elder brother gets, and that is the only money that the family survives on. Jyoti does not contribute in any way or any manner to the family expenses. So where was Jyoti getting all this money to have luxurious travels to different parts of the country, and not only the country but also to have different international travels? In fact, over the last 2 years itself, she had travelled to Pakistan thrice. She went jobless during the pandemic, and after that she started these daily vlogs and then eventually became a travel vlogger. So where was the money coming in from that she was able to travel to all these locations across the country, and also to different parts of the globe as well? She has travelled to nine international destinations. Apart from that, she has travelled to several destinations within the country. So one of the charges that have been put forth against her by the Hisar police is that Jyoti was actually being used as a stooge by the ISI to promote a fake narrative of Pakistan, a narrative in which Pakistan is shown in good light, a narrative in which it is shown to the Indian audience that there is absolute democracy that is maintained in Pakistan, equal rights are given to women in Pakistan. So these are few narratives that the Pakistanis actually wanted to push in through the videos that Jyoti Malhotra was making. Apart from this, the other allegation that has been put forth from the side of Hisar police in this entire matter is that Jyoti Malhotra was also in constant touch with Danish, who is said to be her handler, not only during the Pahalgam attack, but post the Pahalgam attack, during Operation Sindoor and post Operation Sindoor as well, she was in touch with Danish. In fact, what is the kind of information that was actually shared between them? This is something that on which the Hisar police is still deliberating upon. The Hisar police is still trying to find out if at all Jyoti Malhotra was actually spying by knowing that she will be harming the country, she will be harming the internal security of the country, or was she unaware that she is being utilized as a spawn or as a stooge of the ISI or of Danish, who was a person out here who was employed in the Pakistan High Commission. So this is something that the police is now trying to figure out, if at all Jyoti Malhotra knew what she was doing, or if she was blinded by the kind of relationship that she had with Danish, and hence whatever information she gave to Danish, probably thinking that this information is very common knowledge, but that common knowledge became actually very precise for the ISI, because if you see the manner in which these nexuses have been unearthed, one specific case is of Jyoti Danish nexus, in which 7 people have been taken into custody. 2 people today itself have been arrested from Punjab, who were spelling out information regarding the troop movements during Operation Sindoor, the troops movement that were happening not only in Punjab but also in Himachal Pradesh and Jammu. All this information was being given out. Another person who has been arrested from Nuh today itself has in fact confessed to the fact that he had gotten 2 SIMs from the Pakistani embassy, and he was in touch with people from inside the Pakistani embassy, and he was giving them photographs, and he was giving them information regarding the troops of the country. Apart from this, one person who has been arrested by ATS, UP ATS yesterday, it has been alleged against him as well that he was also in direct contact with agents of ISI who were sitting across the border. He had also traveled to Pakistan several times, and then 7 people have also been arrested from the state of Assam. So there is a long list of such stooges who have now been pointed out, who have now been picked up by the agencies. And over the next few days, it is very likely that we could expect this number of stooges or these number of spies who are now being identified. This could actually go up substantially, because this is a massive nexus that was put forth by the ISI. There were different handlers. These handlers had different sources in our country, and then once the information was taken from them, then eventually a larger information chart was made, and then probably decisions to attack or to make sure how to disrupt peace in India was actually charted out or plotted by the ISI. So this is definitely a massive nexus and a massive wake-up call for security agencies across the country.
Absolutely, and the tactics that were used by the Pakistani state, Anshul, at the same time, honey traps, money, promises of marriage, to even brainwashing, these are the different tactics used by the handlers of this alleged spying, so that they could funnel information from India into Pakistan. Please stay with us, because we're getting more reactions coming in, one from the Haryana DGP as well as the Chief Minister of the state.
ऑपरेशन सिंदूर के बाद जो चौकसी बढ़ी, और उसके तहत कुछ लोग जो इन्फॉर्मेशन हमारी केंद्रीय एजेंसियों से और हमारी स्टेट की जो इंटेलिजेंस एजेंसी है उनके माध्यम से जो मिली, उस पर काम करके कुछ ऐसे डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स हैं जहाँ पे जो एंटी नेशनल एलिमेंट्स उनको पकड़ा गया और उनके खिलाफ मुकदमे दर्ज किए गए हैं। इसी कड़ी में जो इस पे एविडेंस हमें और इकट्ठा करना है, इंटेलिजेंस एजेंसियां हैं वो मुस्तैदी से काम कर रही हैं, और उनके साथ लोकल पुलिस, उनका पूरा समन्वय है, और साथ मिलकर के कोऑर्डिनेशन करके इसमें पूरा कठोर से कठोर कदम उठा करके इन पर अंकुश लगाया जाएगा।
नहीं, देखिए, जो इस प्रकार के हमारे सामने कोई विषय आते हैं उनके खिलाफ हमारी पुलिस कार्रवाई कर रही है। विषय कौन सा, कहाँ, आप नागरिक हैं हमारे देश के, आप अगर कोई गलत काम करेंगे, अगर कोई क्राइम करता है व्यक्ति, अब हमें क्या पता है घर से कैसे निकला है, और उसने जाकर के कोई क्राइम कर दिया, क्राइम करने के बाद उसके ऊपर कार्रवाई क्या हुई, या तो उसको खुला छोड़ दिया, फिर तो ये है कि सरकार कोई काम नहीं कर रही। परंतु जब उसको तुरंत जैसे ही उसने कोई क्राइम किया और उसके खिलाफ कार्रवाई हो गई, तो फिर तो उसकी, क्योंकि इस प्रकार के जो लोग हैं, अगर और भी कोई लोग इस प्रकार के होंगे तो उनके खिलाफ भी कार्रवाई।
कब पुलिस आपके घर आई थी ज्योति?
मेरे घर आई थी वीरवार को।
क्या क्या बोल के?
कुछ भी नहीं बोला, चुपचाप अंदर बैठ गए। मेरे से तो कोई बात नहीं हुई और पकड़ के ले गई।
फिर आपको बताया नहीं क्या आरोप है ज्योति के ऊपर?
मेरे को नहीं बताया ना कुछ पता।
क्या क्या आपकी बेटी की कहाँ तक पढ़ाई हुई है, क्या करती थी वो?
BA कर रखी है।
कहाँ से?
ये अपने क्या नाम है, कॉलेज है, पता नहीं नाम।
हिसार से ही?
हाँ जी।
और आपको बता था कि यूट्यूबर है, ब्लॉगर है वो?
यूट्यूब तो ये चलाया करते, फिल्म वीडियो बनाया करते, छोटी मोटी जो भी है। बाकी और कोई पंगा कौन था जी।
और आप क्या करते हैं पेशे से?
मैं तो पॉलिश का काम करता हूँ जी।
अच्छा, और एक भाई आपके यहाँ रहते हैं?
हाँ जी।
लेकिन आपको कभी नहीं पता चला कि वो पाकिस्तान गई है? 3 बार पाकिस्तान जा चुकी है ज्योति, उसके वीडियो हैं सबूत के तौर पे।
मालूम नहीं है जी मेरे को तो।
उसने कभी नहीं बताया वो कहाँ जाती थी?
दिल्ली जाया करती जी।
अच्छा, दिल्ली में रहती थी?
दिल्ली जाया करती, जब भी जाया करती तो कहती मैं दिल्ली जा रही।
उसने कभी नहीं बताया कि विदेश में जो यात्रा की उसने किन किन देशों की?
नहीं मेरे को नहीं पता इस चीज का।
वो कश्मीर भी गई थी हाल फिलहाल, अभी उसने कुछ बताया था?
ना, मेरे को नहीं पता जी।
इतने देशों की यात्रा कर रही है, इतना पैसा कहाँ से आता था? आपने कभी पूछा उसके रहन सहन को लेके?
नहीं, मैंने नहीं पूछा जी।
उसका बैंक अकाउंट है?
बैंक को नहीं है मेरे ख्याल से, कापी एक होगी उसके पास होगी।
अच्छा, उसका बैंक अपना है, सेपरेट अकाउंट उसका?
पता नहीं, मेरे को ध्यान नहीं है।
तो घर का खर्चा कैसे चलता है आप लोगों का?
मेरे भाई की रिटायरमेंट आती है, उससे चलता है।
और ज्योति कोई पैसा नहीं देती थी घर में?
ना, हम लेते भी नहीं थे।
अच्छा,
ना कुछ।
आपके जो शौहर हैं शहजाद, क्या करते हैं काम?
बस काम करते थे, सूटों का काम खुल गया तो कर लिया, नहीं तो अपना मेहनत मजदूरी, ये फ्रूट का ठेला बस खाली लगा लिया।
सूट कहाँ से लाते थे?
सूट लाहौर से।
पाकिस्तान से? जी।
तो
कितनी बार जाते थे, महीने में या साल में?
महीने में ना, साल में चला गया, 2 साल में, साल में बस
तो
1-2 बार बस सूट। जी हाँ।
बस क्या हुआ
आज क्या पता क्या हुआ, किसने करा, ये सब झूठ साबित कर रहे हैं, उनको दोषी ठहरा रहे हैं उन्हें लोग। बहुत जुल्म हो रहा है उनके साथ में, बहुत जुल्म हो रहा है।
क्या कारोबार था आपका जो आप बता रहे हो, कपड़े का कारोबार करते थे?
जी, कारोबार कपड़े का, कपड़ा आता था बस।
और कोई भी साथ में जाता था उनके?
नहीं, कोई नहीं।
मैंने सवेरे दसिया भी हरकीरत 8:30 बजे ना कोई शाम कलोनी इधर आंदे ने, उतों 6 बंदे आए ने, वो चुक के लै गए ने। अजे कोई नहीं पता लगा जी
कौन आया सी फिर उन्होंने?
फोन मैं करना वो ननकाना साहिब लगा शब्द लगते ना, वो पूरी जाती है, फिर अगों मतलब स्विच बंद हो जाता।
कदों वो भी गया कभी पाकिस्तान?
ना, वो नहीं गया।
And more news coming in, and Ashoka University Associate Professor Ali Khan Mahmoodabad was arrested for remarks he made about the Army's press briefings on Operation Sindoor. He had called the press briefings by Colonel Sophia Qureshi and Wing Commander Vyomika Singh as optics, adding that optics must translate to reality or else it's just hypocrisy. Police have booked him under multiple sections, including promoting enmity, inciting rebellion, public mischief, and insulting religious beliefs. A second FIR also includes charges of insulting the modesty of a woman and endangering national unity. The arrest comes after the Haryana Women's Commission raised concerns, saying his remarks try to undermine the female officers. Meanwhile, the university's faculty association has condemned the arrest, calling it, and I quote, groundless and calculated harassment, demanding his immediate release.
मैं धन्यवाद करती हूँ मुख्यमंत्री जी का, हरियाणा पुलिस का, कि उन्होंने इसको अमल किया और FIR दर्ज हुई, उसको दिल्ली के उसके ग्रेटर कैलाश घर से अरेस्ट किया। मुझे तो लगता है इनको प्रोफेसर रहने का अधिकार भी नहीं है और यूनिवर्सिटी को चाहिए कि इसको भी जल्द से जल्द हटा दिया जाए यहाँ से, ताकि मेरे हरियाणा की बेटियाँ जो इस यूनिवर्सिटी में इसके अंडर ह्यूमैनिटीज़ और पॉलिटिकल साइंस पढ़ रही थी, वो कम से कम गलत दिशा, गलत राह और गलत शिक्षा पर ना चली जाएं।
बहुत ही दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण है ये कि जो अली खान महमूदाबाद को जिस तरीके से अरेस्ट किया गया उनकी एक पोस्ट के लिए, उन्होंने पोस्ट में ऐसा कुछ नहीं लिखा। उन्होंने सिर्फ सरकार को आईना दिखाने की कोशिश की कि जैसा आप ऑपरेशन सिंदूर के टाइम में जिस तरीके की डाइवर्सिटी को प्रोजेक्ट करने की कोशिश कर रहे, रोजमर्रा के दिन में भी इस डाइवर्सिटी का आपको ख्याल रखना चाहिए। और अशोका यूनिवर्सिटी वैसे भी इस सरकार के रडार पे है, क्योंकि वहां पर फ्री थिंकर्स को जो है मौका दिया जाता है।
By my colleague Anshul Singh on the broadcast on this latest development that's coming in the wake of Operation Sindoor. So, Anshul, when it comes to the different sections over the statement that has come in from this Ashoka University professor, the sections include promoting enmity, inciting rebellion, public mischief and insulting religious beliefs. Pretty much the book has been thrown at this college professor, but at the same time, the legal legs on which this entire case stands are extremely weak at the same time, no matter the sentiments associated with his statement.
Well, Ayushman, if you see it in context with the statement that was given by the BJP leader Vijay Shaw, definitely the action that is being taken against him is actually can actually be verified, can actually be checked at this point in time. Because remember, Vijay Shaw had given a similar statement, probably in Hindi. That is the reason why that there was a lot more uproar that we had heard. Now, since this professor from Ashoka University has given a similar sort of a statement, but since he is from an university, and hence we are seeing that there is a large lobby that has come out in support of him. Now, what did the Supreme Court do in the Vijay Shaw case? If you look at the Supreme Court has made an SIT to actually look into the statement and in what context was this statement made, even after when the said BJP minister had gone ahead and officially apologized for his statements. On the other hand, the controversy that has erupted by the professor from the statements of the professor of Ashok University, one, he has still not apologized for his statements. Two, he has moved the Supreme Court. He has moved the Supreme Court to quash the FIR and charges against him. The Supreme Court has given him a date for tomorrow to hear his entire plea, and then Supreme Court will eventually take a decision if at all the case that needs to be made out against him is that absolutely necessary, or does that case does not stand. But yes, this is a matter in which probably hypocrisy of a lot of people is being exposed. When a BJP leader says something on similar lines, there is a lot of hue and cry. The courts refuse to hear him. We saw that the Supreme Court for at least 2 to 3 days did not give an urgent hearing, and that is the reason why an FIR was registered against him in Madhya Pradesh, and then he was also taken into custody. Whereas as soon as this person from Ashoka University has been a case has been filed against him and he has been arrested, the Supreme Court has given him time to urgently hear his plea. So it remains to be seen what does the Supreme Court think, what does the Supreme Court think about the legality of the charges that have been pressed against him. But definitely statements like these coming in from different parts of the political spectrum or different parts of the civil society definitely cannot be taken in good sense, and hence action should be taken against each and every person who is actually going ahead and trying to demean the forces, especially at a time when these forces have made sure that the entire India stands united, stands united against the crimes that are being committed by the Pakistanis and by the Pakistani army.
Absolutely, but the university's faculty association has condemned the arrest, calling it groundless and calculated harassment, demanding the immediate release of this associate professor. We will continue to track all the developments coming in on that front, but shifting focus to some more breaking news that's coming in. CNN News 18 gets you this mega exclusive on the legal course of action post the abeyance of the Indus Water Treaty. Now, top government sources say the Indus Water Treaty lacks provisions for unilateral suspension or termination. The treaty states it remains in force until replaced by a mutually ratified agreement, leaving Pakistan unable to legally challenge India's abeyance as a formal breach. Now, as a facilitator, the World Bank cannot enforce compliance. India's 2019 ICJ declaration excludes disputes involving Commonwealth nations and national security. So it will be a bilateral situation between India and Pakistan, and the entrance of any other nation is blocked by the ICJ declaration. Now, Pakistan's access to the court has been blocked by this ICJ declaration back in 2019, and Pakistan's past threats to treat water diversion as an act of war in the 2008 Chenab dispute was also not translated into action, is what top government sources are telling CNN News 18. It also exposed Islamabad's reliance on diplomacy. Now, under the Vienna Convention, India has legal room to call the action of suspending the Indus Water Treaty as a countermeasure to terrorism. Pakistan's weakness in this entire crisis is rooted in structural treaty flaws and geographic dependency, is what top government sources are telling CNN News 18 when it comes to their confidence with the stand of suspending the Indus Water Treaty. And I'm joined by my colleague Siddhant Mishra on the broadcast. So Siddhant, top government sources making it very clear that when it comes to the Indus Water Treaty, India stands on a firm wicket, citing not just the Vienna Convention, but past rulings by the International Court of Justice.
Well, yes, that's right. In fact, top government sources are Malhotra that Indus Water Treaty lacks provision for unilateral suspension or termination. So, the article in the treaty states that the treaty remains in force until replaced by a mutually ratified treaty in Pakistan, unable to legally challenge India's abeyance as a formal treaty. As a facilitator, the World Bank cannot enforce compliance. In fact, the statement from Ajay Banga also came in last few weeks regarding the same. World Bank's role in dispute resolution only in appointing neutral experts or arbitrators. These appointees' advice is non-binding, as seen in the Kishan Ganga and in Ratle Dam disputes. India's 2019 ICJ declaration excludes disputes involving Commonwealth nations and national security, blocking Pakistan's access to the court. India's larger economy and military deter Pakistan from escalating by use of force. Pakistan passed threats to treat water diversion as an act of war in 2008. Chenab dispute was not translated into action and exposed Islamabad's reliance on diplomacy. Under the Vienna Convention, India's suspension could be framed as a countermeasure to terrorism. For India to prove Pakistan's direct hand is challenging, and India can face one problem of violating human rights. Pakistan's weakness in the IWT crisis is rooted in structural treaty flaws and geographical dependency. Perhaps, Ayushman, this is what Manoj Gupta is saying, but a larger context, if I give to the viewers, then before Pahalgam attack, there were twice Indian government wrote to the Pakistani government for the amendments in the existing treaty, because things have changed, scenarios have changed since 1960. The engineering techniques have changed. The challenges, the climate challenge has changed. So India wanted an amendment, and perhaps Pakistan has not done compliance to the requests which were made by the Indian side twice before. This I'm talking before Pahalgam terror attack. Perhaps that is the ground. In fact, one of the grounds which India has made to keep treaty in abeyance. Talking on completely illegal ground, Ayushman. Having said that, also one very important point which Indian diplomats and others keep on highlighting, that when this treaty was signed, it was written in the preamble, it is being signed in the spirit of goodwill and friendship between the two countries. Perhaps what India has been witnessing, Parliament attack, 26/11, Uri, then Pulwama, and now Pahalgam. There has never been a goodwill and a friendship gesture which Pakistan is continuing with. So, India has all the right to withdraw to keep treaty in abeyance. So now IWT, Indus Water Treaty, is in abeyance, but India's war against terrorism is on. Perhaps that is exactly what Indian envoy to Israel has said in an interview.
Right. Thank you, Siddhant, for getting us that piece of breaking news. And one huge diplomatic booster for India when it comes to the Indus Water Treaty is that under the Vienna Convention, India's suspension could be framed as a countermeasure to terror. So it seems that top government sources are very confident about the fact that that diplomatic shift when it comes to tackling terror emanating from Pakistan has gone in India's favor. We will continue to track all the developments coming in on that front. For now, quick break, more news and updates on the other side.
Network 18 decimates Times Internet with over 6 times more unique users on social media. Network 18, the undisputed leader of news networks, way ahead of the times.
This is The Drive.
This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
Thank you so much for that, Anand. We are shifting focus now to the controversy over the arrest of Ashoka University's Associate Professor Ali Khan Mahmoodabad. He was arrested yesterday for his remarks that were made about the press briefings on Operation Sindoor that were held for after Operation Sindoor, in fact, by the Ministry of External Affairs and the Ministry of Defence. He called these press briefings by Colonel Sophia Qureshi and Wing Commander Vyomika Singh as government optics. He added that optics must translate to reality or else it's just hypocrisy, and that triggered a complaint by BJP Youth Wing against him, which was converted into an FIR, and thereafter he was arrested. Police have booked him under multiple sections related to promoting enmity, inciting rebellion, public mischief and insulting religious beliefs. A second FIR has also been filed against him that includes charges of insulting the modesty of a woman and endangering national unity. Now, this arrest comes after Haryana Women's Commission raised concerns, saying his remarks tried to undermine women officers. Meanwhile, the university's Faculty Association has condemned the arrest. They've called it completely calculated, groundless and tagged it as harassment. In fact, they've also demanded his immediate release.
मैं धन्यवाद करती हूं मुख्यमंत्री जी का, हरियाणा पुलिस का, कि उन्होंने इसको अमल किया और एफआईआर दर्ज हुई, उसको दिल्ली के उसके ग्रेटर कैलाश घर से अरेस्ट किया। मुझे तो लगता है इनको प्रोफेसर रहने का अधिकार भी नहीं है और यूनिवर्सिटी को चाहिए कि इसको भी जल्द से जल्द हटा दिया जाए यहाँ से, ताकि मेरे हरियाणा की बेटियां जो इस यूनिवर्सिटी में इसके अंडर ह्यूमैनिटीज और पॉलिटिकल साइंस पढ़ रही थी, वो कम से कम गलत दिशा, गलत राह और गलत शिक्षा पर न चली जाएं।
बहुत ही दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण है ये कि जो अली खान महमूदाबाद को जिस तरीके से अरेस्ट किया गया उनकी एक पोस्ट के लिए, उन्होंने पोस्ट में ऐसा कुछ नहीं लिखा। उन्होंने सिर्फ सरकार को आईना दिखाने की कोशिश की कि जैसा आप ऑपरेशन सिंदूर के टाइम में जिस तरीके की डाइवर्सिटी को प्रोजेक्ट करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं, रोजमर्रा के दिन में भी इस डाइवर्सिटी का आपको ख्याल रखना चाहिए। और अशोका यूनिवर्सिटी वैसे भी इस सरकार के रडार पे है, क्योंकि वहां पर फ्री थिंकर्स को जो है मौका दिया जाता है।
Anshul now joins us, getting us more details. Anshul, we're hearing the kind of politics that's transpiring over the arrest of this associate professor. But as far as the investigation goes, what's the latest? Has he been produced in court? Has he been remanded to custody? What can you tell us?
Well, yes, the custody has already been granted to the Delhi police of the said accused. Not only this, but also petition was moved in the Supreme Court by the professor of Ashoka University, in which he had claimed that that the manner in which this case is being charted out against him, this is unconstitutional. This is against the liberties that have been given to.
And welcome back to the Nation at 5 with me, Ayushman Singh Jamwal. India's Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri is briefing the Parliamentary Committee set up in the wake of the Pahalgam terror attack and Operation Sindoor. The multi-party committee was formed after the ceasefire understanding with Pakistan. And Congress MP Shashi Tharoor is set to lead an all-party delegation to visit 33 nations to reaffirm India's commitment to counter-terrorism and highlight Pakistan's terror links. At today's meeting, the Standing Committee on External Affairs is reviewing foreign policy developments between India and Pakistan.
These delegations are basically a damage control exercise because the narrative on India has suffered very, very badly in recent weeks. This Prime Minister, who didn't even have the courtesy to speak to the LOP in the Lok Sabha, didn't have the courtesy to speak to the President of the Indian National Congress, has decided to take Congress MPs. This is the same Prime Minister who's abused the Congress Party. The Congress Party has always said that we will never play politics with national security. But we condemn the politicization that has taken place.
We as a party, Trinamool Congress, will stand with the center shoulder to shoulder. कि अगर कोई डेलीगेशन जा रहा है, हमें कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, डेलीगेशन जाना चाहिए, जाए। और जिस तरीके से टेररिज्म को बढ़ावा देके इंडिया का पीस को डिसरप्ट करने का प्रयास पाकिस्तान की तरफ से हो रहा है, उसका हम कड़ी निंदा करते हैं। उसको ग्लोबल स्टेज में रखना भी चाहिए, लेकिन मेरा पार्टी से कौन जाएगा, ये डिसीजन पार्टी का है।
प्रधानमंत्री जी को एक फोन उठाना था, हर पॉलिटिकल पार्टी के लीडर को, इंक्लूडिंग LOP, इतनी रस्साकसी नहीं होती। ये गुडविल मिशन जा रहा है दुनिया के अलग अलग देशों में, और जो मैंने पहले कहा मैं दोहरा रहा हूं, इसकी बनावट में अगर इतनी कसमकश हो रही है तो ये उचित नहीं है। मैं समझता हूं कि एक विशाल हृदय दिखाते हुए शुरू में ही इसकी परिपाटी अलग कर दे।
India will be the messenger which will tell them, will tell the global world, the entire terror module of Pakistan is going to be exposed, and we will show unified face, united against terrorism.
जिस तरह से भारत को क्षति पहुंची है पाकिस्तान की टेररिज्म की वजह से, वो तमाम विषयों को लेके और विद प्रॉपर एविडेंस, फैक्ट्स, डिटेल्स, ये तमाम विषयों के साथ हम लोग रखेंगे इसको अंतर्राष्ट्रीय पटल पे।
पाकिस्तान पर प्रेशर बनाएं, दुनिया को बताएं कि किस तरीके से ये आतंकी स्टेट हो गया है, एक फेल्ड स्टेट है, एक रोग स्टेट बन गया है।
प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी ने सिंदूर ऑपरेशन सिंदूर का जो लॉन्च किया, भारत का फोर्सेस ने वो दिखा दिया कि भारत क्या कर सकता है। मेंबर्स ऑफ पार्लियामेंट और कुछ प्रमुख लीडर्स और फॉरवर्ड डिप्लोमेट्स और कुछ ऑफिशियल्स अलग अलग देशों में जा करके भारत का पक्ष रखेंगे, और दुनिया को बताना जरूरी है और दुनिया को भी समझना बहुत जरूरी है कि भारत कितना शांतिप्रिय देश है, और कोई भी आतंकवाद को बढ़ावा देता है तो उसके खिलाफ भारत भी कार्रवाई करेगा और पूरा दुनिया को भी कार्रवाई करना चाहिए।
I said that they cannot decide the name. The party will decide the name. We are totally with the central government regarding external affairs policy, and we are fully supporting them. We don't have any hesitation to say that.
And breaking news coming in, top government sources have revealed that in the standing committee meeting, the discussion was also around what Jaishankar said, the External Affairs Minister, while speaking to the media a few days back. Now, one of the members raised what Rahul Gandhi also questioned in his tweet when it comes to the entire question of sending a message to Pakistan. The Foreign Secretary, meanwhile, has said that Jaishankar's remarks were blown out of proportion. The fact is that India had informed Pakistan about the precise strikes after the initial phase of its commencement. That is what top government sources are telling CNN News 18 when it comes to the entire debate surrounding External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar's comments to the media. I'm joined by my colleague Payal Mehta on the broadcast, who's getting us this piece of breaking news. So, Payal, another round of clarifications coming in from the government.
Yes, the standing committee meeting is currently underway, Ayushman, and in that meeting, India's Foreign Secretary, Mr. Vikram Misri, is deposing before the panel, which is led by Dr. Shashi Tharoor. Questions obviously have been asked by various members of parliament. At this point in time, we do not really know who raised that particular question, but I do understand that somebody from the ruling side possibly raised that question, that whatever Rahul Gandhi has been asking since the last couple of days in terms of putting Dr. Jaishankar in a dock, where is it emerging from and what are the facts concerned with it, to which we are given to understand. The Foreign Secretary said that Mr. Jaishankar's statement was taken out of context. He did not make such a comment, and he basically also reiterated the stand taken by the government of India, essentially saying that they informed Pakistan after the initial start of the precise strike that we actually undertook. It is, of course, a part of protocol that if you are attacking another nation, you actually at some point in time have to tell them. So as part of the protocol that's been done, and remember, multiple attempts have been made by the Congress party to corner Dr. Jaishankar, and Mr. Jaishankar has clearly said that he's not made any such statements also. That is something which has also been clarified. The Ministry of External Affairs came out with a statement just a couple of days ago saying that, his statements have been blown out of context. This is exactly the same line that the Foreign Secretary has taken up in the meeting. The meeting is still underway.
Right. I'm also joined by Pallavi Ghosh on the broadcast when it comes to the entire messaging that's coming in from the opposition camp. Pallavi, decode this for us, because we continuously have this discussion whenever it comes to the topic of national security. While the entire political capital across the nation is in the favor of the government, but the nation is behind the forces as well as the Modi government, decode the thinking in the Congress camp to take shots at the Prime Minister's conduct and even the conduct of the External Affairs Minister.
Well, I'm going to take a comparison between the stand of both the Trinamool Congress as well as the Congress party. Look, like the Congress, the TMC also has on record objected to the fact that the government has decided who the people are going to be a part of the delegation and on their own, like Shashi Tharoor and Manish Tiwari were not the recommendations coming in from the Congress. Sudhir Bandyopadhyay was again not the recommendation coming in from the TMC. This is a point of order, which was of course raised by Mamata Banerjee, saying that as leader of the party and I'm the mother party, I should have been asked that who is it that we are recommending. She very clearly made it clear to the Congress, to the government that, you know, you should have called us and you should have called me up and I would perhaps have sent someone. But as far as the national issue is concerned and as far as pushing India's case at the overseas level is concerned, the TMC completely backs the government. But in stark contrast is the stand of the Congress party. The Congress party's stand is, many would say, a little politically incorrect. While they are raising the same point which is being raised by the TMC, but the question is over here, Ayushman, the delegation is about to set sail later this week. And is this the time to start raising questions about Pakistan having been informed about Operation Sindoor? How many of the Indian pilots were actually shot down? How many Indian Air Force planes were shot down? This is exactly what the Pakistan has been saying, that this was a war which was lost by India and that India faced losses whereas Pakistan won the war as far as Operation Sindoor is concerned. So it's but natural. The BJP has already begun to make the issue that, you know, the Congress party is speaking the language. The timing is incorrect. Once again, just ahead of the delegation traveling, the Congress is speaking a language which is going to weaken our negotiation, our narrative when the 7-led delegation is going to travel.
Absolutely. The Congress once again caught in that political quagmire. Thank you, Pallavi, for joining us on the broadcast and decoding that for us. But CNN News 18, Shivani Gupta spoke to Jay Panda, who is leading the delegation to Saudi Arabia. Jay Panda asserted that nuclear power can't be used as an umbrella to hide terror. Listen into that exclusive chat.
When do you leave exactly? You're visiting countries like the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Bahrain, Algeria, important countries, especially in context of our friendship in the Middle East region. When do you leave? Who all are you expected to meet? How will you take this outreach forward?
So the group that I'm heading has some very important personalities, MPs and former ministers and chief ministers like Ghulam Nabi Azad ji, Asaduddin Owaisi ji. We have the former Foreign Secretary Shingla and others. And I think with this kind of personalities in the team, we look forward to having very meaningful discussions in these important countries, as you mentioned, Saudi Arabia and Kuwait, etc. So we'll be meeting, you know, a wide variety of stakeholders. I mentioned government, think tanks, media, but also the diaspora, because this messaging can't be a one-off. We need this messaging to continue. So the diaspora is also a very important part for us to reach out, because facts have to be, you know, there's a lot of misinformation out there that Pakistan is trying to spread, and those need to be countered. And this will be an effort that will have a lasting effect.
What would be your greatest challenge? To explain to them the fact that Pakistan uses Kashmir as an excuse to foment trouble, or that India has drawn a red line when it comes to tolerating terror on its on its territory, and there will be military action that India will not be apologetic about if Pakistan was to attempt this anymore. What is the one singular message, and what is going to be your greatest challenge, you think?
You referred to phrase that they use called Indian administered Kashmir. Some of them are so shameless that they call it Indian occupied Kashmir. Whereas when independence happened, by the rules that applied to all the princely states, all the 500 odd princely states which went to either India or to Pakistan or to what is now Bangladesh, in those implementation of those same rules, Jammu and Kashmir came to us. So the legitimacy is only of India. There can only be a part which is POK, Pakistan occupied, because they have no legitimacy by any means. They just came in and they occupied it. And there is a part that they have given to China. So this the clarification has to start from the roots of these things. The second thing is, yes, this nuclear blackmail that Pakistan has been indulging in is shameful, because powers that have achieved nuclear capabilities over the last 80 years have used that to achieve some kind of détente, some kind of deterrence, not as an umbrella for carrying out terrorism. Now, the Modi government has proved, starting with Boycott in 2019 in fact even before that with the surgical strikes,
Yes.
and now especially that without going anywhere near the nuclear threshold, a very heavy cost can be extracted from Pakistan. And the message that the Prime Minister has given, that we have zero tolerance. This is not the India that Pakistan engaged with through terrorism in Mumbai in 2008 or earlier, when we used to have attacks in Delhi every other week. This is an India which will not tolerate. And so the clarification that Operation Sindoor has only been paused, and that any terror attack will lead to retaliation is the message.
This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
Thank you so much for that, Anand. We are shifting focus now to the controversy over the arrest of Ashoka University's Associate Professor Ali Khan Mahmoodabad. He was arrested yesterday for his remarks that were made about the press briefings on Operation Sindoor that were held for after Operation Sindoor, in fact, by the Ministry of External Affairs and the Ministry of Defence. He called these press briefings by Colonel Sophia Qureshi and Wing Commander Vyomika Singh as government optics. He added that optics must translate to reality or else it's just hypocrisy, and that triggered a complaint by BJP Youth Wing against him, which was converted into an FIR, and thereafter he was arrested. Police have booked him under multiple sections related to promoting enmity, inciting rebellion, public mischief and insulting religious beliefs. A second FIR has also been filed against him that includes charges of insulting the modesty of a woman and endangering national unity. Now, this arrest comes after Haryana Women's Commission raised concerns, saying his remarks tried to undermine women officers. Meanwhile, the university's Faculty Association has condemned the arrest. They've called it completely calculated, groundless and tagged it as harassment. In fact, they've also demanded his immediate release.
मैं धन्यवाद करती हूं मुख्यमंत्री जी का, हरियाणा पुलिस का, कि उन्होंने इसको अमल किया और एफआईआर दर्ज हुई, उसको दिल्ली के उसके ग्रेटर कैलाश घर से अरेस्ट किया। मुझे तो लगता है इनको प्रोफेसर रहने का अधिकार भी नहीं है और यूनिवर्सिटी को चाहिए कि इसको भी जल्द से जल्द हटा दिया जाए यहाँ से, ताकि मेरे हरियाणा की बेटियां जो इस यूनिवर्सिटी में इसके अंडर ह्यूमैनिटीज और पॉलिटिकल साइंस पढ़ रही थी, वो कम से कम गलत दिशा, गलत राह और गलत शिक्षा पर ना चली जाएं।
बहुत ही दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण है ये कि जो अली खान महमूदाबाद को जिस तरीके से अरेस्ट किया गया उनकी एक पोस्ट के लिए, उन्होंने पोस्ट में ऐसा कुछ नहीं लिखा। उन्होंने सिर्फ सरकार को आईना दिखाने की कोशिश की कि जैसा आप ऑपरेशन सिंदूर के टाइम में जिस तरीके की डाइवर्सिटी को प्रोजेक्ट करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं, रोजमर्रा के दिन में भी इस डाइवर्सिटी का आपको ख्याल रखना चाहिए। और अशोका यूनिवर्सिटी वैसे भी इस सरकार के रडार पे है, क्योंकि वहां पर फ्री थिंकर्स को जो है मौका दिया जाता है।
Anshul now joins us, getting us more details. Anshul, we're hearing the kind of politics that's transpiring over the arrest of this associate professor. But as far as the investigation goes, what's the latest? Has he been produced in court? Has he been remanded to custody? What can you tell us?
Well, yes, the custody has already been granted to the Delhi police of the said accused. Not only this, but also petition was moved in the Supreme Court by the professor of Ashoka University, in which he had claimed that that the manner in which this case is being charted out against him, this is unconstitutional. This is against the liberties that have been given to him under Article 19, and hence this entire FIR that has been lodged against him should be done away with. To this.
Hello friends, you're watching Take 3 with me, Rahul Shivshankar, Zaka Jacob, and Anand Narasimhan, who's going to be here in just a minute or so. But viewers, the first meeting, or the briefing rather, of the delegation that is expected to leave forthwith, in fact, in the next 48 hours, is threatening to be overshadowed by a controversy that has been triggered by Congress Supremo and leader of the opposition, Rahul Gandhi, who's come out and questioned S. Jaishankar, implying that S. Jaishankar made statements that cost perhaps India a military superiority over Pakistan. Let me quickly quote to you what Rahul Gandhi has said, and then I want to get Zaka's views on this. Rahul Gandhi says, EM Jaishankar's silence is just telling, it's damning. So I'll ask again, how many Indian aircraft did we lose because Pakistan knew this wasn't a lapse, it was a crime and the nation deserves the truth? Now he's referring, Zaka, to a statement that was issued by the EM on camera saying that, look, at the start of the military operation, Operation Sindoor, we reached out to the Pakistanis and we told them, look, we're going to be going after the terror targets on your soil and you have the option of standing down. This, Rahul Gandhi says, was prior intimation to the Pakistanis, handing over really the surprise factor, compromising it. How do you view this?
So I think, look, the only statement that the External Affairs Minister made, was at the inauguration of the Honduras embassy. There was a National Day celebration there last week. He spoke to agencies, on the sidelines of that event, and what he said was, at the start of the military operation, we intimated Pakistan that, look, these are the terror targets and we've hit these terror targets, and we're not hitting any military installations. Now, the problem was with the choice of the phrase at the start of the operations. Now, what is standard practice, and this is military to military practice, it happens between Russia and Ukraine all the time, it has been happening for the last 3 years, is if you've used military force against another state, then there is a military to military log. It's like a wire, it's like your standard telegram code that goes out saying that, look, we've hit these targets, and this is the reason that we've hit, and we're not hitting any military installations. Now, the only military to military log or channel of communication that exists between India and Pakistan is at the DGMO level. So what happened on that night was the Operation Sindoor, the initial operation which targeted the 9 terrorist facilities, happened between 1:05 a.m. and 1:30 a.m. Right after 1:30 a.m., there is a military log that goes from the Indian DGMO to the Pakistani DGMO saying that, look, we've hit these 9 sites, and this is the reason why we've hit, and we're not hitting any further places. We're certainly not hitting any military installations. That is what the External Affairs Minister was referring to. Clearly, Rahul Gandhi and the Congress have picked that up, saying, he said at the start before the operations. It was not before the operation, it was right after the operation.
So he was speaking sort of figuratively.
Yeah.
But do you see, Anand, once again, the lack of trust at a moment such as this? Now, there has also been another little controversy, as you know, when it came to selecting the names for these delegates who are going to go out.
See, there are two ways, and very simply put. One is from the government side, could the MEA have immediately issued a corrigendum the moment they knew that something's gone on? Did they have to wait for the next day to come and issue a corrigendum? Or there was perhaps somewhere, even if the EM himself could have just taken to X and said, listen, this is what I meant, this is how it is, end of matter. That's one part. So that could have happened, it's not happened. Now there are explanations and all that. It's snowballed into a political issue. The other thing is, from the Congress party, which side are you on? If you are with the government on this, you should actually be giving cover fire to Mr. Jaishankar, because this is about Bharat. You are trying to call Jaishankar, the EAM, whatever names you are calling, is only going to hurt Bharat's cause. So at the end of the day, you are trying to push your political agenda, trying to cloak it into whatever. The other thing is Dr. Shashi Tharoor and whatever are the names. If you are with government, if you are with Bharat and this is a whole of government approach and this is for Bharat, then there should be no issue about Dr. Tharoor being named in that. Yes, Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge is right in trying to say the party will decide who will go. You can't dictate, the government should not dictate who. You can give us a preferred list. Like, these are the people we would like you to come. But if you are saying, no, you have asked for this guy and we will not send this guy because this guy has been perhaps one of the most articulate exponents of Bharat's strategy and why Bharat has done Operation Sindoor, then you are doing the country a disservice. Forget the political issues. Agree, disagree, Zaka?
No. In the case of Tharoor, there are two factors to it. One, of course, he has become, and eventually in the last few weeks, there's evidence of this, he's become a very articulate spokesman of India's position, why India did what it did. And, there are very few people who are as articulate in politics, certainly in English, in a way that, international audiences will sit up and pay attention. I know this for a fact. For example, in France, there are about 6 TV stations that have reached out to the Indian mission in Paris and said, we want to interview this gentleman, bring him to our television studios and, we want to interview him. So at least in the case of one country, I can say that they've asked specifically for him. He's also, by the way, the chairman of the Parliamentary Standing Committee on External Affairs, which is meeting right now. So he has a locus standi. He has a position, an official position, which thereby enables him to be used by the government as an articulate spokesperson for the government's position and India's position.
Look at a nation like France, where the media has been lopsided in its narrative about Bharat. And if you have somebody who's articulate, the Congress should be the first person saying, if you don't take Dr. Tharoor, we'll take umbrage to it. Because this is a Congress's ticket.
The Congress's problem is something else. The Congress's problem is he's not being a loyal party soldier.
No, but that is something.
The tragedy is
but Rahul,
the party has disagreed with Shashi Tharoor.
See, that's okay. I'm not saying that there are not internecine issues within the Congress party right now. But don't you agree that right now, by trying to play politics at a time when they should not be doing, when they took a proper moral high ground and one would respect the Congress for what they did throughout Operation Sindoor, they should have allowed this to play for at least another 10 days before taking disciplinary action with Dr. Tharoor to explain himself. Once he goes around, does his job for the country and
so
comes
what
back,
has happened? What has happened actually, Anand, is that the Pakistani media and the Pakistani government has picked up Rahul Gandhi's statement, asking Jaishankar how many aircrafts went down, how many Indians' lives did you compromise in the process of alerting the Pakistani military establishment? So they are using this as fodder to once again take the high ground. But the point is, look, I mean, I just feel it's very petty. Because the DGMO has come out and said that, look, in these operations, you do have losses. Now, what are you trying to do? By suggesting that we lost a lot of planes, etc., who's benefiting from this?
See, I mean, you make a point, but I'm just wanting to say, if the Pakistani media is questioning and taking Dr. Jaishankar or Mr. Rahul Gandhi's words to be true, and going back and trying to question Dr. They should go and question General Munir at Shehbaz Sharif that if you had advanced information, why couldn't you save the 100 jihadis and so many personnel that we can't even claim we have lost? So what were you doing? How could 9 terror structures in the heart of Pakistan be attacked if you had prior information? It's basic common sense that the Pakistani media should do it, but perhaps we are being too charitable according to them.
I mean, I'm just saying that at a time like this, when the DGMOs have sort of come out, and there has been a negative campaign, in any case in the Western press, suggesting that we lost the air war, right, to Pakistan. So all of this sort of feeds into that unfortunate.
I'm just saying, if somebody is going to be myopic in your politics because you believe that you want to gain an upper hand and you want to pin the government down, you could have waited another 10 days and let this whole thing be over, come back and then do it. But
and
again,
you also choose your fights.
But again, you would agree if I say that Dr. Jaishankar and the MEA erred when they waited for more than 15 hours to come and issue a corrigendum. They should have done it immediately after that.
So
they should have been done.
I got a message in one of the MEA groups on that night itself, Saturday night, when Rahul Gandhi made this. See, again, like I said, the only quibble is the starting of the soundbite, basically, which has now gone viral, says at the start of the operation. Instead of at the start of the operation, had he said at the conclusion of the operation, or at 1:31 a.m. on the morning of the 7th, when the Operation Sindoor was concluded, at least the terror part was concluded. This is a standard established military practice.
Zaka, there are two ways to look at it. At the start of Operation Sindoor is 22nd of April or 23rd of April, when the Prime Minister and the government of Bharat very clearly told Pakistan that we are going to decimate your terror infrastructure. So that is the start of Operation Sindoor. It's not at 1:05 a.m.
No, but
so
Operation
that is one,
Sindoor
that is
as a name was actually revealed to the world when the ADGPI
but I'm
put
saying
out that statement at 1:44 a.m.
I agree, but Operation Sindoor for the government had already started from Bihar when the Prime Minister stood there and challenged and announced it to the whole world. Announced it to the whole world that we are going to identify, track, punish. The MEA, all it needed to do was that Dr. Jaishankar was referring to the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister's address to in Bihar, where we said we will identify, track, punish. That's when the whole thing was set in motion, and that was the start. And we had given a public open warning to Pakistan: we are coming for you.
No,
we are coming
like
for
I
you.
said,
That's
I mean,
one part.
What he was referring to was,
that
standard military practice, which, you know, like I said, Russia, Ukraine, every time they've attacked each other,
that should have come
there is a
officially.
military to military
But
log that is maintained.
That should have come officially from the MEA, not via sources, not via individual claims that this is what it is, this is what. They should have explained it at that time.
By the way, you in the last 2 days, since this has become a political controversy, any of the major generals, lieutenant generals you've interviewed, they all say that this is what the standard practice is. So I don't think there's anything extraordinary that was said by the External Affairs Minister. It's just that, look, in the business of politics, this heat and fire will happen.
Saying is, what is the exact starting point? Of course,
just put the corrigendum officially and nip it in the bud there.
But
Dr.
Jaishankar was speaking in a very, very narrow sort of protocol-orientated paradigm, where he says that we tip them off. But that wasn't the start. I mean, I understand what you're saying. It was actually, we're quibbling here over words, hair splitting.
So just end the quibble there. Nobody is questioning Dr. Jaishankar, his commitment to the country, and he is one of the foremost articulator of Bharat's shift in strategic posture, the underlining strategic autonomy. He's reshaped it. There's no discrediting Dr. Jaishankar at all. It's just pure basic thing about, if they are going to come back on a counter and they're going to go it so petty, let's just clear it all out, put it all out there that they don't have any ground.
I think the larger problem, Anand, just very quickly, is that, look, there is a narrative war that's going on. India has decisively won the war on the battlefield, certainly the war in the skies. We've penetrated their air defenses. The Chinese weapons have come a cropper. The HQ-9 is down. All of this India has achieved. These are and the 11 air bases that have been targeted. But somehow in the global narrative, particularly in the Western press, why are these multi-party delegations going? I mean, if there was no need to win the narrative war, why would you send these multi-party delegations? They're going because they want to use members of parliament, both from government and opposition, to tell Western capitals and some capitals in the Middle East, Africa, etc., that look, we are the victims here. You can't equate the perpetrator and the victim. We undertook this action, Operation Sindoor, because 26 of our innocent civilians were killed. We were forced into taking this action. To try and reclaim that narrative, I think there is some work to do, and that's why these delegations
and I think it is perhaps the first time the government is cognizant that the international narrative has to fit and has to be molded in a way that, shaped in a way that articulates Bharat's position. And there is no doubt about it. Somewhere, perhaps some more responsibility should be shown from the Congress party when some of their own senior leaders articulate whether you have a political problem or not. Rahul Shishankar, final word. You should let them go here. You could say, listen, you'll have a show cause notice waiting for you when you come back. But right now,
in any case, I think precedent shows that the government has always picked these delegations. So the party has only been informed that, look, this is what we want, or it's been left to the MPs to inform their parties. So I think, look, this is just a facile controversy being used to stay relevant by certain political parties or to ask questions that will upstage, I presume, the government to score a few political points.
As we wind up, JMM Sarfaraz, another MP, Rajya Sabha MP, who's also part of this group, he was asked about Abhishek Banerjee, because Trinamool also said, government will not tell us, we will decide. You know what he said? You don't need to say all of this on public platforms. You can just pick up a phone call and then just communicate this. At this time, to do this is wrong. Very mature, coming from a party from Jharkhand, JMM, and its leader, who's also going to be part of Dr. Tharoor's delegation only. On that note, we're going to wind up this edition of Take 3 Shots. Thank you, gents. It's over to Poonam for Plain Speak.
Good evening. You're watching Plain Speak with me, Poonam Burde. Is there an espionage ring running from inside the Pakistan High Commission in India? Are YouTubers and influencers working as spies for Pakistan? Have Indian citizens fallen prey to a rogue nation's agenda by turning against their own country? Answers to those questions are being found by investigating agencies across Haryana, Punjab and Uttar Pradesh. The most high-profile connection under investigation is that of Jyoti Malhotra. Once a travel blogger, now behind bars for allegedly spying for the enemy. Jyoti's many trips to Pakistan are under the scanner. Her links to Pakistan High Commission officer Danish, who was posted at the commission here in New Delhi, has sent alarm bells ringing.